Hello and thank you for joining me. I'm Heather Forgan of stampwithnellie.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in the UK. And today I've got this cute little box that contains a lip balm. It is a flip top and you can see the lip balm is in there, and I've actually got a little insert there for that as well. So this one I have decorated with I've used real red card, and this is some of the 'Tis the Season Designer Series paper, which has cherry cobbler, garden green, real red, shaded spruce and whisper white in it. So I've used one of the designs that has real red and whisper white, and I've coordinated with a ribbon made from card of whisper white, and I've stamped the bow from the gift wrapped stamp set, which is this one, and I've also made the tag, stamped the tag with the tied with love from the same set. So this stamp set is available to purchase on its own, as is the gift bow builder punch, but if you buy the two of them together in my online shop, then you will automatically save 10% on the cost of the two separate. So without further ado, let's make another one for this one. This time I'm still using the same pack of Designer Series paper, but I've decided to use this design. I've got my little bits for making the bow, and I am using cherry cobbler cardstock for this one. So this piece of card measures 6 inches by 11 inches, and I'll have all of the measurements and the products that I've used over in my blog post. There'll be a link to that blog post in the description bar below. So let me just make a bit of space and bring in my Simply Scored. So along the 11-inch side, the long side, I'm going to score that at 2 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches, 8.5 inches, and then 10.5 inches. Turn that around and I'm going to score at 2 inches and 4 inches. So our finished box is a 2-inch cube. Okay, let's finish with that. Now, there's a little bit of cutting to do first of all. So what I'm going to do is cut straight up these 2 score lines here to the 3rd horizontal line, and then I'm actually going to chop out these 3 panels on either side. So I'll do that first of all. I quite like to use my longer scissors when I'm doing something like this. You could obviously use your paper trimmer or your snips. I like, where I can, to make as few movements. And if I can do it in a nice one swoop, then that's fab. I've got a better chance of it being straight. There we go. So that leaves us with this bit to make the little insert for the lip balm to sit in. I now also want to cut up these score lines on either side and just to the first horizontal one. So again, just straight. Oops. There you go. exactly the same on the other side. Okay, now we need something for our little lip balm to actually sit in there, and I've used a die from the Layering Circles set, and I've used the second smallest scalloped one, and I'm just going to die cut that hole there. So bear with me and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I'll take my die out of there, and I've got that I can use for something at some other point in time. Okay, so we've done our cutting and our die cutting. It's now a case of doing some folding, and I probably should have folded that first, burnished that first rather, before doing the cutting. It made it easier. Not that it's overly difficult. Okay, and these all just fold in the same direction. So you've got that extra little one in there, and your final one at the end. All right, so this is going to fold. I need to put some adhesive on there, and that's going to fold up like that to attach onto that back bit there. So I'm going to do that bit first, and you can use whatever adhesive is your personal favourite. I like wet glue. For card making, it gives you a little bit extra wiggle room, which is always good in case you're not sure that you've got something in exactly the right place. That can be a disadvantage like this when you are doing a 3D project, because it does take a little bit extra time to actually stick. But when it does stick, it is nice and strong. So I'm quite happy to just wait that little bit longer. And as I say, it doesn't take a huge amount of time, it's just a little bit longer. So I'm going to fold these two up, and I'm going to put some adhesive on there. And I'm going to layer that on top there. Okay, and get it as straight as we can. So same again, glue on this bit, and put that in place there. Now with your score lines, you might notice I've got a tiny extra bit on there. You can trim that off if you wish, but it's not going to make a huge amount of difference in terms of closing your box, so I'm not going to bother. And to make the lid, I'm simply going to do the same thing with these two pieces here. Okay, so again, actually on this one, just because there's so many different layers there, I am going to just take out that score line there. So take that out the way. Just a tiny little margin off the side. It will just help it fold that little bit more neatly, but isn't entirely essential. Okay, so I've on that, on those sides there. So those will be the inside. And I want to get that nice and neat. Not get glue all over the place, although I'm going to decorate that side, so it's not a problem. Now, if I had been doing Christmas fairs this year, this would be a nice little thing to pop on my stall. Nice little present. And if you don't make them overly Christmassy, so this one, it's not an immediately, oh, that's Christmas, then, you know, you could gift these at any time of year. And there you go, we've got our box. We now just need to decorate it. Oops, and I've got a little bit of glue oozing. Let me just tidy that up a bit. I can go over that with my adhesive eraser later on. So, our designer series paper, I have 5 pieces of this, and these measure 1 3/4 inches by 1 3/4 inches. And I am simply going to place that on each of these sides. Now, if you do have a directional pattern, you want to make sure that you're going in the same direction all the way round. So if I was using these diagonal stripes, I'd want them to go that way instead of all that way, or some of them that way and some of them that way, if you know what I mean. Oops, that's a bit squint. There we go. And I managed to cover the glue mark I left on that one when I was building the box. And then I'll just put more glue marks by moving it. Honestly. I do one thing right and another thing wrong. Although I keep saying that there are no such things as mistakes when you're making crafts. There are embellishment opportunities. You can always cover a glue mark with a rhinestone. Okay, so because it's difficult to see where that box opens, I have in mind taken a small punch. This is a 1-inch circle punch that unfortunately Stampin' Up no longer sells, and just made a thumb notch there. But you could do exactly the same before you've built this up. You could do the same with one of your circle dies. One of the probably the smallest one would be perfectly fine for that as well. And it just gives a thumb notch there so that it's easier to open and close. All right, so rest of the decoration. These strips are 1/2 inch wide and start at 1 inch in one side even. Just gently fold that around, trying to keep it straight, unlike my last one, which went really squint. And then I'm going to add the glue to the centre bit. Put that across, trying to keep it straight, as I say. Now I just cut 1/2 inch strips from some scrap that I had. So mine's is slightly longer than it needs to be. but I'm just going to pop it in place and then I can cut off the excess. If you do want to cut to fit, then obviously it would be 6 inches in length for those 2 bits. As I say, we've got our 2-inch cube. There we go. And put it back on and do the same the other way around. So and this is where it would possibly get difficult if you didn't have the circle punch. You might want to just free cut that, because you can't really do that until you've made your box up. So the die cutting's not quite so easy that way. Okay, so I've got my squares there, just fold that around, and I'm not going to put glue right to the end because I would probably glue that there. So instead, put a little bit of glue there. And a little bit of glue on that, trying to keep that straight as well. There we are. We have our decorated box. Because I do have my circle punch, I can come back in and just cut that to fit, like that. So it gives a neater edge to it there. So next bit to do is to stamp our bow. So I'll use the same one as I used the last time, but with cherry cobbler ink this time. Just on a scrap. And I also, while I've got the ink out, I've got a little bit that I want to stamp the tide with love, like that. That out the way, and I can bring in my punch, just line it up. And you're happy where you've got it, press. And that's that bit done. I like to just use my bone folder to curl these bows gently. Just to give it an extra little bit of dimension. And I am just gonna, because I forgot to bring out a punch for this, I'm just gonna wing it. Punch gives you such a neater finish. But there we are. So it's a little bit long. I'm just going to take a little bit off first. Are you happy with that? Yeah, go with that. Just glue that on across the centre there. Place. And some glue along the centre of my bow and put that at a jaunty angle. What do you think? Happy with that. So with this one, because it was real red, I used the red rhinestones, and for this one, the cherry cobbler one, I could have coloured these cherry cobbler, but I haven't. So I am just going to use these normal rhinestones, the clear ones, just a little bit of sparkle, and there we have it. That is now ready for me to add in. Tidied all this mess and found it again. There it is. Oh, in fact, I've done that the wrong way around. Ah, well, never mind. I would suggest that you perhaps wanted to do it that way around, but hey, never mind. We've got 2 cute little gift boxes with a lip balm inside them. Perfect for just that little extra stocking filler. I hope you've enjoyed today's project. If you have, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're not already a subscriber to my channel, then please click on that button. That would be awesome. Thank you. And as a reminder, all of the dimensions and the products that I have used are listed in my blog post, and that blog post is there's a link to that in the description bar below. So just click on that arrow, click on more, whatever your device needs you to see more information about this, and you'll get that link. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next time, bye bye.